It's KD the one. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, wherever. If I miss Christmas, I'm here with an Exospeaks video, and really, it's about no more white guilt. I don't know how y'all feel about this topic. I know I like this topic. It's been something I've been interested in. Before I sit here and tell you how I feel, I want to get into the video. If y'all want to see more videos like this that discuss hard topics, especially stuff like this in our generation, then like, comment, subscribe, and ain't that much to say. Grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's get into the video.
I'm just over this white guilt, white shame type stuff. I'm not advocating for white supremacy. I'm just advocating the end of white silence and the end of white guilt and the end of white shame, because our culture participated in nothing that your culture hadn't participated in previously. We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it. Huh? We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it.
What?
I'm not saying that we're better than you, but we're damn sure not worse.
Reason why this topic interests me. I'm sorry if I'm not talking that loud. I got my wife behind me. She's still asleep. But reason why this topic interests me so fucking much is because I believe to progress as a society, we need to let people move on and not have to sit here and sit with guilt. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people have suffered through things, have been through things, and their family has been through things, so they sit here and they still hold on to that hatred. But it's weird to have that hatred for something that happened 200 to 500 years ago. And like he said, white people didn't start slavery. I'm not going to say they finished it, but they didn't start slavery. Slavery been back a long, long time ago. To sit here on some shit and still have that hatred, still have that anger, we're not we're not better than them. We're really not. So for him to sit here on some shit, say I'm not worse than them, he out of pocket. I'm not even gonna say this nigga's valid because this nigga is really out of pocket. But think about it.
And we are the only group that you're demanding shut up. And because we're not doing it anymore, you're just going to scream racist louder and louder and louder. And we are done caring. We are not ashamed of who we are.
I will never apologize for being white and so sick of being told to. Absolutely no apologies and zero guilt. As a woman of color, say it again. I get so sick and tired of the constant victim mentality. The fact that so many people agree with this is disturbing. So
I'm not gonna say I agree. It's just I believe if if we progress, if you talking about us growing hand by hand, listening to Martin Luther King, if you preach his words, if you saying here follow his following, and you don't follow something where we can push away the guilt, we can sit here and better ourselves hand by hand, other than just sitting here berating them, forcing them to sit here and suffer because of the fact that their ancestors did something. I feel like that's the reason why people are like caught up in something like this. But really, I feel like it's an interesting topic. It's a test of intelligence, I feel. Let's say that.
if you haven't heard about it already, there's a new narrative floating around called No More White Guilt. And yes, I'm serious. From big names like Elon Musk supporting it to just everyday normal people, it's starting to gain a lot of traction. I mean, like I showed you before, just this TikTok alone has gotten a lot of engagement. That's not always an indicator of how people feel in real life, but it does mean something. So the meaning of the no more white guilt phrase is white people pretty much saying that they shouldn't feel personally guilty for slavery or racism that happened in the past. They're pretty much saying that they never owned any slaves and they never.
All right, before this brother says something, before he say something that I know a lot of y'all probably going to cheer for, let me be the one that say something that y'all might not like. I personally don't think that a current day white person should have to suffer. Again, like how I said, it's just personal. It's just personal opinion. Y'all could think other way. Y'all could think because y'all had great grandparents who were in slavery or who was oppressed that you could have whatever feeling, you could have anything you feel. But me personally, I feel like not every white person owes to kiss your ass, because the end of the day, not every white person owns slaves.
Participated in the racist behavior that their ancestors engaged in. So they feel like they really have nothing to do with it.
White people need to stop falling for the propaganda of white guilt. Enough already. We were not around 200 years ago. I wasn't, my grandparents were, my great-grandparents weren't. Just stop. The world was a brutal and barbaric place all over the place.
White guilt is dead, and people are not happy about it. No one should feel guilty for the color of their skin. But yet me saying those 4 words, white guilt is dead, probably pissed a ton of you off. But stay mad.
I don't owe a fucking, I don't owe an.
Tell me, is that girl wrong? Tell me if that, tell me if that girl's wrong. You put in the comments, you put whatever, but tell me if that girl's wrong. The fact that y'all should not have to feel judgment for y'all skin color. Again, like, how can we be better than them people who ended up doing shit like that? I'm not saying we sitting here owning slaves. I'm not saying they're saying all that shit. But how can we be better than the people who ended up oppressing black people if we're sitting here putting double standards on white people?
Apology to one motherfucking person. I cannot stand that white people are being told to apologize for, even though they've never done one racist thing in their fucking life. Have people gone fucking mad? Apologize for what?
I don't feel any white guilt. I don't feel any guilt, hereditary guilt. I feel guilt for things I've done in my own life that have been wrong. I feel guilt sometimes for my actions towards other people, which are not as generous as they could have been. I feel guilt about my own life. I feel no hereditary guilt, and nobody else should either.
None of you alive today ever owned a slave. Not one of you have ever owned a plantation. None of you have a cotton field. Nothing. I don't ever want you to feel guilty because you're white, because that's stupid. I don't feel guilty for being Hispanic. Why should you feel guilty for being white?
I'm gonna say this. As a black man, my father left me. I got upset when he left me. Now, me being a grown person, I sit here with my wife. We have our first kid on the way. I should sit here and carry that guilt that my father, he left me. So now I might have the chance of leaving my kid because of the fact that, or I'm going to leave my kid because my father left me. Again, like, it might be undercutting the analogy, and too many people are going to take that undercutting and be like, but it's not the same. I understand it's not the same. Nothing's going to ever be the same as the atrocities of slavery, same as the Holocaust, same as all that. When it comes to great genocide, nothing's going to match up to that. But to force someone to show, like, force a whole generation or race hate because of the fact that their ancestors did something, I really just can't agree with. Like, that should just, it makes me upset, especially as a black person. That feels more racist than, like, actual racists out there right now.
Nobody's asking you to cry, nobody's asking you to hate yourself, and nobody's asking for a personal apology. This is about accountability. And honestly, I don't even know where y'all are getting that from, because nobody has ever said that. What black people want is fairness, equality, and recognition. That's it. Nobody's asking for anything extra. We want acknowledgement that our history didn't just end. We want to be able to have honest conversations about how systems still affect outcomes. We want equal treatment without having to prove our humanity first. And we want the ability to talk about our reality without being dismissed as emotional, angry, or manipulative. It's really just truth without defensiveness. We have history to prove everything. But honestly, that's part of the problem. A lot of y'all are willfully ignorant, and you're not even equipped to have this type of conversation because you don't know anything about black history. We're forced to.
I understand at least a decent amount, but the reason why I have this mindset is because generational hate isn't going to be fixed by generational hate.
Learn about y'all history, but when it comes to ours, y'all don't care.
I hear a a lot of people complain that we don't talk about Black history enough. Well, yeah, maybe it's because y'all are busy stealing everyone else's history.
Okay, everybody, a lot of people are going to be saying Happy Juneteenth. It should not be a federal holiday, and I'm on my way to work. Have a good day.
Now, Black History Month has rather come to an end because there isn't very much Black history to have a month about. So the month gets shorter every year by a couple of days.
What does that mean to you, Black History Month? It means that that's racism, because...
Look, like I was saying before I got interrupted, it's not really the fact of, and I might be a little bit off topic, that's fine, but it's not really the fact that people hasn't seen these things or haven't took accountability. It's just it's hard to take accountability for something you didn't do. And as a black man, that's something that I fear all the time. Imagine getting arrested for something you didn't do because someone had the same skin color as you, because someone had dreads. Now, again, I can't pull analogies and sit here and be like, oh, this is just like that, because a lot of people are going to be like, this has nothing to do with that. I understand. But this is how I feel. This is how I see it. As a black man, I understand 200 years ago, our people was oppressed. Our people had the hardest time of their lives. But when it comes to me now, a lot of our people are thriving. A lot of our people are doing good. Like, I can't really say that much after that. There's something I'm piecing together in my head, but I'm probably going to say after this clip.
They don't celebrate White History Month. We don't have it. I'm part Italian. I don't have Italian History Month.
Caught on video, a noose controversy. You can clearly see this white firefighter tying a rope into a noose and handing it to a black firefighter.
And at first it was a thing where you could just throw the blame onto the educational system. But now with social media being so widely accessible and you having the ability to learn about this information, it's no excuse for it. And for a lot of people, instead of actually learning about our history, it's easier to just point fingers, even when you don't know what you're talking about at all.
We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it.
That's like saying, yeah, I kidnapped her, but I let her go, so at least give me credit for that. You shouldn't have kidnapped her in the first place. And this is a...
Look, the loudest voices are always going to be the most ignorant. The most ignorant voice is always going to be heard out. When it comes to love, sometimes love always get looked over. But when it comes to hate, everybody hears hate. I don't even think that white brother meant hate, but I think that man has a lot of anger that is kind of understandable. I feel like we won't be able to understand that because of the fact that they have to build off of our frustration, our hate, our rage because of the fact of what they done. There's a lot of things that they done that I cannot agree with, but to still sit here and hate a person for the past is something that does not feel healthy in my mind. And like I said, it's all personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I'm watching this video of a brother that I agree with in some parts and I don't agree with. You don't have to fully agree with me. That's fine. But when it comes to something like this, there's going to be ignorant people that say something and that ruins the cause for the people that actually have heart, that actually feel some type of way about this. There's going to be an intelligent person that sits here on some shit. Well, for white people, we don't do this, that, and the third. And shit, maybe it has to be a black person that stands up for them. You'll never know. But until we get told by someone in our own skin color, our own words, sometimes it's hard for us to listen. To be fair, until someone your own that looks like you says it, it's hard for you to hear that shit.
Exactly what I'm talking about. White people did not end slavery. Stop saying that, because that totally discredits all of the hard work that my ancestors have put in to get us to the place that we're at now. Slavery ended because enslaved people forced it to end. There were constant rebellions, escapes, sabotage, and resistance that made slavery hard to maintain. There were abolitionists like Olaudah Equiano, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, abolitionists that fought against slavery through writing, legal challenges, organizing, and activism. The British abolition movement did help, but don't make it seem like white people ended slavery, because that's not the truth. I know y'all like to whitewash everything and make y'all the heroes in every story, but that's not the case. Y'all acting like slavery ended because y'all just had a change of heart one day. No, my ancestors put in work to make that happen. This wasn't out of generosity. Y'all didn't just wake up one morning, oh, you know what, we're just gonna let them free. That's not how that.
And for someone like this black brother, he's speaking 100% facts right here. But I want someone like him to also think of this. If there's war, history is written by the winner, right? These people, the South didn't win. Y'all say here slavery didn't win, all that shit. Y'all talk about that. Then why isn't our history being told? We fought for the wrong side. They got their clarity. They got what they needed. And then they threw us away. A lot of us, we had to dig ourselves up. We had to ended up taking ourselves out of slavery. We had to end up making a change for our own name. That's why there's a lot of black activists. There's a lot of people who actually moved that has all skin color that did better. But it's hard for people to hear that positivity, because the second they hear that hate, they run with it. They instantly start pushing out. I feel like that white man, when he said white people ended slavery, I could be wrong. 100% I could be wrong. But I don't think he was talking about like our president who ended slavery. I don't think he talking about fucking Abraham Lincoln. I think he talking about the idea of they were the last ones into slavery. They were the ones that ended up getting the slavery last minute, and now since they did it during the most modern times, that they're getting hated on. Again, I don't even think that's right. I believe that he's completely wrong in this, because of the fact that you sit here on some shit, you have the idea that your race finished something. Finish something that's still happening now. Finish something. No, you didn't do shit. Your race didn't do nothing. Same thing. For our race to sit here and talk about changing, betterment, desegregating everything, to actually be equal, we gotta actually let these people grow with us. Because if we sit here and grow separate from these people, we're never gonna be equal. We're just gonna be over each other, and they're gonna try to get over us. Like I said in my last video, sooner or later, our generation is going to take over the big companies, the big organizations. And then a lot of people like this is not going to be able to make videos over racism. And I'm not even talking about him, but the people who've been in this video, they're not going to be able to make videos over shit that's oppressive and racist, because of the fact that I will hold you as a white man to the same standard that I will hold a black man. I don't see you as your character trope. I don't see you as a character picture of who you are. I'll see you as just another person. And that's how race should be. That's how life should be. I shouldn't see you as your skin color. I shouldn't see you as your past. I shouldn't see you as my grandfather seen you. That ignorant firefighter that handed someone the noose, again, there's ignorance everywhere. And ignorance is always going to be seen first. But it's up to you to filter out that ignorance, to take that knowledge and put it into something.
Happen.
Our culture participated in nothing that your culture hadn't participated in previously.
This gotta be the most ignorant video of all time. I can't believe y'all are letting this man get away with these lies.
That too. I'm not even going to say that black people weren't slaves. They were. Black people owned slaves before. But to the level of genocide that happened, the level of people who ended up losing their lives, ended up getting R-worded, all that shit, it ended up happening in a majority white demographic. But it wasn't just white. Hispanics had to go through. Even though Hispanics went through their own like segregation, they went through it. when it came to that. Irish went to that. Italian. Anyone who went to America, if you was classified as white, sometimes they would let you free, and sometimes they would look at you and spit at you. It wasn't just dark-skinned people. There was white slaves out there, but at the same time, you don't sit there and talk about the dwindling numbers. You don't talk about the minorities. You talk about what's happening to people like you. Again, I'm not talking about this brother in general. I'm just talking about like our whole society. Again, I'm sorry for all the pauses. It's just something like this is something that like I fully pay attention to. This is something that I care for a lot because I believe that racism can stop, but it's going to take someone to actually take that first step.
This argument about slavery is extremely weak, and I'm very surprised that I don't see it being dismantled way more often. Did Africans willingly participate in the slave trade? Yes. Was that wrong for them to do? Yes. But what y'all need to understand is there is a big difference between African slavery and chattel slavery. I want to make a whole separate video about this, so I'll touch on this very briefly. African slavery usually enslaved war captives, people who couldn't repay their...
Alright, I ain't even gonna lie, that interests me. I'm not going to sit here and cut this video because of the fact that I don't want to hear what he says. Low-key, I kind of want to listen to this video personally so I can fester with it because there was a lot of good points in this video, but a lot of this I was talking over. If you want to see this video by itself, please check out Exospeaks in the description of my video. And if you like more videos like this, please like, comment, subscribe. Please tell me how y'all feel about this because this is something that's never going to end until something's actually done. And we keep talking about hate, we keep pushing more hate. I feel like that's never going to finish anything. But that's my personal opinion. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments, and I'll see y'all boys next time. Peace.